how do we know that the vaccines are safe and effective for minority communities?
So excellent question. So one thing that I would highly recommend for our listeners and our viewers to do is to actually go and look at the study data for both the Pfizer and Moderna products. One of the things that I really appreciated about the Moderna product in particular, which by the way, the lead scientist on is an African-American woman, FYI, and it was developed through our National Institutes of Health. Is that they actually halted their study because they did not have as much diversity as they had originally projected. So they actually delayed the time frame that they were thinking that they would go for emergency use authorization because they wanted to recruit more communities of color and more diversity in their study population. So that's one thing I would absolutely encourage everyone to do because the data really does speak for itself. I trust the scientists. I trust the FDA. They thoroughly reviewed both of the products prior to providing them with the emergency use authorization in December of last year. The other thing too that was very interesting when you look at the data is who was more likely to experience side effects versus those who were less likely to experience side effects. The two major things that they saw that were a consideration of whether or not you were to experience side effects was your age and whether or not you had existing antibodies against COVID-19, meaning you may or may not have known that you were COVID-19 positive. And so those who had recent antibodies within the last 90 days had a more likelihood to experience side effects associated with the vaccine, as well as if you were younger, because that more robust immune response was seen in people with competent immune systems. So the other thing too that I will say is personal experience. So I have now received both doses of the Moderna vaccine. So I will tell you, I survived. I did absolutely experience more side effects with the second dose, but it was expected because, again, that was something that was detailed in the information provided by Moderna in their study materials and their trial data. So I think that we need to trust the science. And yes, I agree that we don't have long-term data right now, but this is an unprecedented time for this messenger RNA product. The CDC created a brand new real-time surveillance program called VSafe. This is the first time we've ever done this before. Prior to that, the only way that we would find out about adverse effects was through something called VAERS, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, and that was a delayed effect. So really, you only got data if someone chose to enter it. But this is real time, and people are being asked to input information the first week of their vaccination and then weekly thereafter. And that surveillance data will be done for up to 2 years following people getting vaccinated. So again, this is the first time we've ever done this, but I really do think that we are doing our best to make sure that if there is issues surrounding either an individual lot, which we did see that there was some suspension of a particular lot done in California, but then it was investigated and it was found that it wasn't attributed to the vaccine. So I think when we do see that there may be a problem, we stop, we investigate, and then we use the science to move forward.
Dr. Madison, is there a specific place or link where folks can go and find that research that you just spoke about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or the FDA. And if you actually just type in Moderna and type in EUA, which stands for Emergency Use Authorization, it will pop up with the fact sheet with all the with most of the study data. I think there's an individual link that you can access with the full addition as well as the supplement that goes with the study data that was published. So you can do that for both Pfizer as well as Moderna. So Google is your friend in that regard. There's lots of ways that you can search and typically will come up with what I consider a reputable source. So you can always tell if it's got GOV at the end or EDU, right? So either education or government. So those are the ones that you would trust. And again, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, HHS, or NIH.